Hey guys, welcome back to my travel series. Today I have another installment for you. If you missed any of the previous episodes, I will throw them up in a card here and I will link them below in the video description. And one more thing before we begin, you'll notice that the rest of this video looks kind of different, which is because I pre-filmed it back in LA and now I'm home in Australia refilming these intros and outros because I mysteriously lost a whole bunch of footage. But anyway, let's get right into it. Now onto what I consider the fun part, packing. So what do you need? The first thing is a 4-wheeled suitcase. Secondly, some packing cubes. Third, some clear Ziploc bags. And fourth, a portable luggage scale. My suitcase is a Samsonite Cube Lite, which I've had for over 3 years and it's pretty much still like new. The technology behind it is that it's a woven material covered in a hard material so that it still has a bit of bend and give to it. If it's too brittle, it will crack, which is what kind of crappier quality hard suitcases will do. It's also extremely lightweight and the zipper tabs click into the lock, which just makes it a little bit more secure. So make sure you invest in a really nice quality 4-wheel hard shell suitcase. You can of course go for a soft case. I don't have any experience with using these personally. I've always used a hard shell case, but the only thing with the soft ones is that I feel like they might get more dirty more easily, and having all those exterior pockets is a little bit pointless because there's always more risk of things getting lost or stolen if they're in exterior pockets. Of course, there are excellent quality soft cases out there though. I just don't have any experience using them. It really is up to what you prefer. But the only thing is, it has to have 4 wheels. There's pretty much no excuses. I honestly don't know how I went for so long not having a 4-wheel suitcase. I think I only got one like 3 years ago when I got my Samsonite Cube Lite. So whatever suitcase you are getting, it's just really important to have the convenience of 4 wheels. If you are planning on backpacking though, I can't help you with that one because I don't own a pack. I've never backpacked and I don't have any plans to go backpacking. So yeah. Now we're going to move on to how to decide what to pack. I think I mentioned it in one of my recent vlogs that being into fashion and traveling is so difficult because you just want to pack everything and have all your clothes and have all the options and wear a different outfit every day, but it's just impossible. We just don't physically have the space in our suitcase to do it unless you have like an entourage and you can have like 12 suitcases and they carry all your suitcases for you and you have a private jet, then maybe someday. So obviously you're going to want to do your best to pack light. Deciding what to pack is so subjective and it depends on so many things like where you're going, what the climate is, what kind of activities you'll be doing, and how much space you'll have. But I do have some tips that you can apply to most types of travels. By the way, I'm not really going to be talking about what I like to pack in terms of clothing for different climates. That's just a whole kind of other topic and I might save that for a future video. If you have any questions about that, you can of course leave it below in the comments. Start off by picking out your absolute favorite clothing items, things that you wear the most, that you feel comfortable and confident and happy wearing. You're going to want to bring with you as many of those things that you can that are appropriate for where you're going and what you're doing and the climate. So for example, if you have 2 dresses and 6 pairs of shorts and like 1 jacket, just bring 1 or 2 from each category. And whatever you do, do not pack things that you put off wearing at home. When you travel, it's just going to mean that you're going to put off wearing it even more. I'm sure there are some exceptions to this rule, which you can probably think of, but just as a broad, very general rule, don't bring stuff that you're going to put off wearing. Only pack comfortable shoes. Don't bring any super dressy shoes unless you have plans specifically for an event, like you're going to a wedding or something. If you think you'll be going to 1 or 2 nice dinners, just bring 1 pair of really smart casual shoes that you can wear both to the dinners and then also during the day. Once you've narrowed down your shoes by comfort, pack 1 of each style. For example, 1 pair of sneakers, 1 pair of boots, 1 pair of sandals, and so on. If you only wear sneakers, then just bring sneakers. If you only wear boots, then just bring boots. Just bring shoes that you know can go with a lot of outfits and that are comfortable and that are suitable for the climate and the activities. As a general rule, try not to bring more than 3 to 4 pairs of shoes. This will depend on the length of the trip and how much space you have, but I think that kind of covers most types of trips. Even 3 to 4 pairs of shoes is going to take up a heck of a lot of space. But if you're into fashion and you like to have your options, I say 4 pairs max and wear one of those on the plane, and try to make sure it's one of your most bulky and heavy pairs. Another thing is don't pack multiple similar items. Don't bring 2 pairs of white sneakers. Don't bring 2 black jackets. Try to just bring one of each style. Now we're going to talk about being tactful with toiletries. Baggage is all about weight, and I find that toiletries take up the most of that weight. Bring travel size products or your own self-made travel size products where possible. If you're going on a trip about 2 to 3 weeks or less, you can probably get away with bringing travel size versions of all your toiletries. Cleanser, for example, you just pump as many pumps as you would normally use every day into your container, and then add maybe like 5 to 10 more pumps just to be safe. However, if a product is really important to your routine or has very limited availability, like you can only buy it online, 100% bring the full size. I remember a time where I couldn't find Cetaphil in Stockholm and it sucked so much. So, how to pack your bag? The first step is to take out your suitcase at least 1 week before your departure date. I think this is a good reminder to pack, and also every time you see your suitcase, you'll kind of start thinking about ideas about what you want to pack and how you're going to pack and little things like that. So it can be really helpful. This also means you can start tossing in little bits and pieces throughout the week as you go, kind of doing a little bit of packing every day. Next thing you'll want to do is kind of optional, but I think it's really important. You're going to want to write an inventory. You can just do a short list if it's only a small trip, but if you're going on anything longer where you're packing a lot of stuff, I think it's really important to write a detailed, categorized list of everything you're bringing. This way you can not only tick things off as you pack them, you can also check you haven't left anything behind at the end of a trip. My packing lists are pretty intense and categorized. I do them all on my computer, and as I've packed something off my list, I change the text color to gray. When it comes to packing cubes, as much as I would love a full set of beautiful, high quality Eagle Creek packing cubes, they are quite pricey, so for the moment I just stick to some super inexpensive packing cubes from eBay. Tons of sellers have the exact same kind. I will link a few examples for you guys below. If you'd like to see a video on how I organize my clothes within my packing cubes, you can check out my Pack With Me video, which will be up in a card somewhere here, and I will also put it down in the video description. Always pack a few spare packing cubes in your suitcase in case one of them breaks, and also to pack your shopping for the way home. For those of you who don't use packing cubes, your life will change after you get packing cubes. They just make packing so much more organized and so much easier, because once you have all your packing cubes full, it's just like a game of Tetris fitting it all in your suitcase. It's also really handy if you get to the check-in counter at the airport and they tell you your check-in bag is too heavy. You can just open up your suitcase, everything is all there, neat and contained in packing cubes, and you can just remove 1 or 2 packing cubes and then weigh the bag again. I've done this probably twice now, and it's just so much more stress-free. When it comes to folding methods, I really like to stick to good old-fashioned traditional folding. I think it's really neat and it saves space quite well. It also makes the clothes fit quite well into the packing cubes. There are 4 ways to remove creases while traveling. The first way is to just hang up your clothes. Gravity will do a great job at removing a lot of those creases. The second way is to hang up your clothes in the bathroom and take a hot shower. Make sure the fan is off and the door is closed. All the steam should do a really good job at loosening up most of the creases. The third option is using a crease removing spray, which you just spray onto your clothes and smooth out with your hand. Although personally I don't find this particularly effective. The last option would be just to iron your clothes if you have an iron available to you at your hotel or accommodation. My next major tip is assume everything will break, leak and shift in your luggage. I always tape up the openings of my liquid products Sometimes I will tape the lid down if I'm worried it's going to pop up or fall off, and I keep these all in their own sealed off Ziploc bag. I put any extra messy things like my grapeseed oil in their own little separate Ziploc bag surrounded by some tissue as a way to soak up any potential leaks to stop them from seeping out further. If you have shoes with dirty or rough soles, also keep those in their own separate Ziploc bags. Basically, just Ziploc the crap out of everything is my number one advice when it comes to anything liquid or delicate. Better safe than sorry. Pretty much at least one thing will always leak in my luggage, and it's usually nail polish. For some reason, no matter how tight I do up those lids, it always leaks. This next tip is just a quick one to keep in mind when you're arranging everything in your suitcase, but make sure you distribute the weight evenly. You don't want to have a whole bunch of stuff in one half of the suitcase and then the other half is almost empty, because you want to make sure that A, your bag isn't unbalanced, and B, the items in the empty side aren't like rattling around and getting damaged. This mainly goes for those suitcases that have like two halves that like zip together, kind of like my suitcase. After you think you've got everything packed and decided, you're going to weigh your bag. Make sure you do this on the day before your flight, not on the day of your flight, because you may have to remove some things if it's too heavy, or if it's like way underweight, you may be able to bring that extra pair of shoes you were hoping to bring. A human scale is probably more easy if you're at home, because you can just kind of push your luggage onto the scale. Otherwise, a portable scale is really good. I have both electronic and kind of traditional style ones. The Samsonite one I'm currently using is an old-fashioned type one, so it's not electronic, but I find it works really well and you don't have to hold your bag up for very long like you do with electronic scales. But whatever type of scales you use, just please be so careful when you're lifting your luggage. I have injured myself multiple times and witnessed other people injure themselves, so just be really careful. And remember, if you're at a hotel and you don't have any scales, always go and ask at the concierge, because they pretty much always have some kind of scale for you to weigh your luggage. Last item on the topic of packing is random little things that you should always bring with you, and these are things that I've learnt from experience that I've either brought or I haven't brought, and it has like caused me some kind of issue and I took note of it. So I'm going to share them with you guys so you don't ever have to make those mistakes. So things you're going to want to bring are: 1, stick-on hooks, be it the suction type kind or like the temporary sticky ones from like 3M. Number 2 is antibacterial wipes, which obviously have a multitude of uses, but the most important thing is obviously for disinfecting your plane seat. Number 3 is a portable phone charger, but I don't go anywhere without this, like traveling or not traveling, I always have one with me. Number 4 is several pairs of spare contact lenses and a spare contact lens case. One time, some of my portable fragrance leaked into my contact lens case. Every time I put them in my eyes, it burned so much I had to throw out like 2 pairs of contact lenses or something ridiculous. Number 5 is a portable clothesline. I forgot one for this trip, / I don't even own one, and I really wish I had one because it's really good if you want to just do some hand washing in your room and you want to hang up your clothes to dry. The last thing that's really good to bring is surgical or medical tape. It's so good for preventing blisters and it just really has a multitude of uses. So now we're going to talk about perfecting a long haul flight. Let's start with your in-flight toiletries. I recommend investing in a really nice quality reusable liquids bag. Mine is by Flight 001, but if you want that fast, just make sure it's like a nice durable Ziploc bag with a proper Ziploc and not like the ones that you have to press together, because I find those can be really unreliable and sometimes come apart. If you'd like to see what's in my travel bag, including toiletries, makeup, and everything else, be sure to check out the separate video I made for that. I will link it below and put it in a card somewhere here. Some other things to always bring with you on your flight: always bring snacks on a flight. This is so important, especially how some shorter flights don't provide you with any food. And I always get so hungry on planes, so I think it's really good to bring a Cliff Bar or any other kind of muesli or granola bar, maybe some crackers, and also some fruit. I always bring an apple with me. It's also really important to bring your own eye mask. I like the ones with eye cavities, so you can open and close your eyes within the eye mask. They're a lot more comfortable than the ones they give you on the plane. So generally with anything you carry on, you have your official carry-on bag and then you have your personal item. So for me, my carry-on would be my small, like mini 4-wheel suitcase that's within the carry-on guidelines. And then my personal item would be my backpack with all my stuff in it, like my liquids and my laptop. I always bring a backpack because I like to be hands-free when I'm at the airport, because if you're dealing with your passport and your tickets, it's just so much easier. I have been talking for so long in this video, like my muscle here and my neck is starting to hurt. And now we're on to the fun part of flying, choosing an outfit. For my most recent long-haul flight outfit, I wore my Joy Rich sweatpants, which are very soft and warm, a black long sleeve top, my Giza Joy Rich sweatshirt, and my Fila sneakers, which were nice and loose and super easy to slip on and off. For my bag, I brought my American Apparel denim backpack because it fits a ton inside. I like to be comfortable, but also I like to be put together. Although I'm wearing sweats, I consider them to be like designer sweats, so I hope that kind of makes them a little bit more dressed up. I also add, you know, some jewelry like my gold watch. My main tip for picking your outfit for the plane is to always assume you're going to be freezing, because I feel like no matter what flight, it always gets really cold. So it's good to wear long pants, either leggings, jeans, or sweatpants, and then maybe a t-shirt with a jumper or a hoodie or a cardigan you can bring to wear over the top. It's also really important to bring at least one extra layer with you in your bag in case you do get extra cold, and make sure you also bring your own pair of warm socks. There are 2 things I recommend you look up online before flying. The first one is your in-flight dining menu, because this can really affect how many snacks you're going to want to bring on your flight. The second thing is to look up the in-flight entertainment, because if it's not so good or you've already seen all the movies, you might want to bring some extra movies with you on your iPad or your iPhone or your laptop. Once you're on the plane, take out your in-flight toiletries and anything else you want to have for easy access and put it in the little pocket in front of your seat. Make sure you drink a ton of water on your flight. Everybody says it, but you have to do it. Staying hydrated makes me feel so much better on flights. I've really noticed the difference, and it also helps a lot with jet lag recovery. Now, what I like to do to get the best sleep is just say I'm doing Sydney to Los Angeles, which is about a 13.5 to a 14-hour flight. About 7 hours into the flight, I will go to sleep, because that means I have about 7 hours left and I will probably get 5 hours sleep out of that last 7 hours. I always allow 2 hours at the end because they're going to wake you up to give you breakfast or some kind of meal or prepare you for landing. You can do this for any flight length. Just pick a goal of a number of hours you want to sleep and make it a reasonable goal. I felt that 5 hours was achievable, which it was. And about 30 minutes before you decide to go to sleep, take any sleeping aids you might have, and then you should be good to go. Make sure that at least 90 minutes before landing, you're awake and you go to the bathrooms to wash your face and freshen up and do your makeup. I know that for me, this takes kind of a long time, so I like to make sure I can get into the bathrooms without having to wait in the queues like everybody else, like right before landing. So make sure you get in early and get it done. And that about sums up your flight. So hopefully your flight has been very comfortable and enjoyable. So that is it for this video. If you guys have any packing or flying tips, please be sure to let me know down in the comments. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!